what does the full potential of a human look like when all DNA is activated?
The DNA inside of humans, there's a lot that lays dormant. And when it is at its highest potential, we see things in this life that just could not be thought possible. There was a time where DNA had been fully activated, but it was rearranged. It was shuffled around, and it was all done with purpose. It was done so that we could have this limited experience. And the more limited experience we have, the more we can grow from. And but the full potential of the DNA, it goes way beyond imagination. There are some things we can say. It would basically be anything. You can do anything. The only reason you cannot do something is because you do not believe it 100%. And so when our DNA is fully activated, it just gives us access to more of ourselves, more of our higher gifts. So like the ability to walk on water, to levitate, to potentially create things out of thin air. Just like Jesus turned water into wine, we have the same alchemical abilities. And it's not limited to just that. It's really, the potential is infinite. And this is just to get your mind, your imagination started. Because these are just like the surface level things, but they're just so much more potential. And it is exciting because there's a path right now that is leading to the unlocking of our potential, but it has to happen in a process.
Can you elaborate that, please? The process, the path to unlock.
Yes, there's being energy sent to Earth right now. It has been happening for many of years. It's been a process. It cannot happen all at once because that human body cannot handle it. Because it has been in its limited DNA. It has been in the limited 2-strand DNA for as long as it's been for thousands of years that humans have been living in the scattered DNA. And so while they have this natural potential, because they have been living in the limited DNA for so long, it must go through a process now. Because if it were to happen all at once, the body could not handle it and would probably die. So right now, at this point in time, there is light being sent to Earth. There is light being born into Earth. And so it comes through as downloads, as activations. It comes through to unlock our potential. Some days it can be there are symptoms that people receive that they cannot explain. Sometimes people will get a headache that they just cannot explain, or feel like really tired on a day even though they've been keeping up with their routines. Because sometimes the activating of our DNA, it will, because it takes energy, and it's kind of could be compared to a computer that has to shut down a little bit and to like install an update. So it can happen in our sleep. It makes it easier. That's when our bodies are most available. But it can happen at any time. Like can receive light at any time.
Thank you. So what is the current state of things in relation to this process and to the new earth?
The new earth is on its way. It is around the corner. It is not far. Do not get caught up in when. Do not caught up in how. It is happening. It is good to be aware and know. There are many people trying to predict. A lot is what's happening. It is exciting, for sure, definitely, and I can see why humans would be excited. But do not let the when and how disrupt the present, because even though it is happening in a process, it's happening differently everywhere around the world. And it is just all a process. It is just, there are places that are just like really liberated. There are still places going through what is called like deep state control. Although some of it is just, some of it could just, because the deep state is just so weak right now, it could probably just be like uplifted, but it wouldn't be the most optimal path. Like some things still have to be left to being played out as they need to. There's still like a clearing energy, because as the new earth vibration can only hold a certain vibration, old energies have to be essentially purged out. And that is why so much is happening on the earth at this moment, as we have entered into spring, as life begins to grow, as new challenges arise. These old energies are being brought up. People are being challenged with this old energy. Last year people have been challenged, but now everything is just really being surfaced. It is as we come unto the dawn, as the revealing, the great revealing comes about. People will be tested. People will be tested at their highest density, at their highest extremes, before the truth begins to roll out. People will be given the hardest lessons to learn, to potentially give people the biggest opportunity to be ready for this. So the people that are ready, and should just remain patient. Just like I said, don't be caught up in the when and how. Just trust. And that people are learning their hardest lessons now. And people and yeah, the process is just currently happening all around the world and happening as it needs to be.
That's why there's so much happening right now.
Yes, there is.
It needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is a lot happening around the world right now, and it just needs to happen. And so, kind of like Sam's lesson, he needs just to let go what you can't control, that everything is happening for a higher purpose. It is not good or bad. Everyone's on a unique path, and everything is happening for the highest good, the individual soul level, and at the highest good of the earth.
Thank you. He wants to know also, how do you transcend the ego?
To transcend the ego, you must not be identified with it. You must see it for what it is. You must look at it without judgment. Meditation is a great practice. This is one great reason why we practice meditation, is to transcend our egos. And it is a process, just like everything here. It is something you have to see as separate from yourself. That what we identify with is what we bring into our reality. And so if we identify with the past, we bring it into our reality. If we make the past who we are, we will only repeat the past. If we remember that we have a past and not identify it, we can step into a new identity. So it is important to, in a sense, to have an identity, but it is important to not be attached. Because it is with life, everything, the biggest lesson with it is to realize that things always change. And it's like there is no good or bad. So maybe something that you identified with may have been good for you at one time, but is not good for you in the future. So it is okay to let go of old identities, and then it is okay to create new identities without attachment, with also having the discernment that new identity could disappear as quickly as it came, and ultimately just hold true that ultimately that you are not your thoughts, in the end that you are pure source, and that who you really are deep down is God, and that is truly all you really need to know. And you can use that to be the highest truth in this reality. And you can enjoy who you are. You can take on roles, but you can be adaptable. Always be adaptable.
Thank you.